There it is. Good. Sue and I go back to the 1990s when I was at Middlesex University writing up my master's, which was the focus on inequality and around babies being removed. And I was doing photography for May's Midwifery back then. So it's lovely to come full circle almost. And that when I last saw Sue at another conference, she said, when are we going to get some of your photos to show? So this is a real honour to be able to share them with Sue and with you all. So this project has come about by a collaboration really with Sharon Bumford, who unfortunately can't be here tonight. And we together had talked for many years about supporting women whose babies are being removed at birth. And we were in a safeguarding team together, and we talked about, what we could offer, what momentums we could offer. We were getting involved in local charities, getting outfits and toys and blankets and things that we could just send mum home with that might smell of baby and that baby could wear. And I kept saying, like, I know I can do something with my photography, but there was never space to be able to develop a project together because we were just frontlining, and the job came first, and that's where our focus always was, and there just wasn't space. When you're working in safeguarding, quite a lot of what we do as well is training, and so I went off and did my PG cert just to really give a backbone to the kind of training I was giving and making sure that the learners were learning the best they could from us. And then an opportunity arrived for me to become a lecturer. And so now I'm a senior lecturer at Kingston University. And because of that space and because of that distance and because I could take a breath, we were able then to come back together. And because we always knew the journey wasn't over when I left safeguarding team, and that anything that we were going to do or publish would be a joint venture. So I've called this You Were Held. As I said at the beginning, it was really born from an idea of my own daughter being held on her christening day, and thinking, gosh, that image was so strong for me. It's on my mirror every morning when I do my makeup, and I saw it in my sister's home at the weekend, and it just really reminds me of how lucky we were, how supported she was, and how I felt that she was always going to be really safe. And I think when you have a background of child protection, you are almost hyper vigilant about the safety of your own baby, probably. So I've called it a creative project, but I have been talking to people and calling it a passion project, really. And this week's really helped me to reflect on that. And now I have reframed this, that it's a compassion project, because I think that suits it more in what we're doing here. So the project is, the background to it is that there are around 3,000 babies born every year in the UK, and these babies are described as being born into care. And this work has come from Tobacco and also from the Nuffield Institute, who wrote sort of practical guidance for around babies born into care. And they're the ones that have also started the Hope Project, where again they're providing boxes that are filled with these momentums, and in the box is an STD card for images to be saved that are taken for the baby and for the mother. So many of the women themselves, as you know, will themselves have a background in childhood adversity and abuse, and there are many reasons why babies are removed at birth, and it may be complex safeguarding, it could be critical complex mental health, domestic abuse, substance misuse, or on the rare occasion, those babies that are relinquished. And we know that these women, this particular margin of women, are more higher risk of death, and that also is reflected in the Embrace report. We know that if there are additional needs and adverse childhood events for the mother, then their risks are much higher. So this session really highlights the provision of what we can, the photographic service that we're offering for those women that are at risk to being separated. And the photographs are part of a resource which is aimed at keeping that connection for the mother and the baby whilst those legal proceedings are ongoing, and to validate this moment and the magnitude of the loss and grief that the mother experiences. And the grief has been described as disenfranchised. And there's also been some work around the haunting, mothers that are left with these sort of ghost memories of a baby that was taken. Really powerful words and really powerful images. So we know that there is a dearth in midwifery literature, and I fully believe that's because safeguarding midwives are safeguarding and probably don't have the space, just like I didn't, or the brain space to be able to write up what's really going on there in the coalface. And I think maybe the wider audience, and I don't know, this is anecdotal, maybe there's a perception that when a baby's removed, it's the corpse that do it, it's the social worker that do it, it's the police that do it, when actually it's the midwife. And even though legally the police are the only person that can remove a baby from its mother under a police protection order, I think for years and generations, a midwife is the one that has said in lots of different ways, okay, it's time, or, I'm going to take your baby to special care now, or, all sorts of ways for the mother to relinquish the baby voluntarily so that you're not actually physically taking the baby, but it's still, that separation is still happening, and the midwife is the one that is often in the room facilitating. The social worker may be there may be other family members, there may be a SCBU, paediatrician, there may be lots of other people involved at that time, but I think the midwife is key, and I think our role is undervalued. We don't talk about this, and this is another part of midwifery that I think needs highlighting. So when I talked about, I named it disenfranchised grief, we know that parents, the evidence is that they do value empathy and genuine individualised care that's sensitive, and it's given in a sensitive location. Know that we need to create opportunities for parents to create memories for those first hours to support ongoing connection, and that's vital for the baby's well-being and for mother. And there is a recommendation in Tobacco's work, and again with the Nuffield, around the recommendation for meaningful goodbyes and memories whilst promoting collaboration and compassion. So, as I said, some people, we do rely heavily on mothers, birthing people, partners to take photographs. Lots of these photos get taken on mobile phones, and we know that these women also can have digital poverty. They may not have clouds, they may not have backup, they may not have storage, they may not have laptops. They may not have, I don't know how many people physically get photographs produced anymore. So by offering this photography to parents who are experiencing removal, it's one element of validating the relationship and having something physical that they can hold and relate to. So this is the governance part. This is where Sharon's work really came in. So I was the one with the idea about the photography, and Sharon was the one that really got down to the detail, made everything safe, made it happen, spoke to the right people in the right places, ensured that all the documentation was correct. So we needed governance, we needed safe editing and storage of the photographs. And that was an overriding theme throughout the planning of this. We sought expertise from information governance teams within Midwifery. We developed a consent form for the parents, which outlined who takes the photo, where the photo is used, and whom it would be shared with, and how it will be stored. And how it's done is that the photographs are immediately edited by myself. I send them to the safeguarding team via NHS email, one photograph at a time. Those photographs are then sent to our illustration team, our imaging team, who take photographs for all sorts of things around the hospital, and they agreed that they could give us 5 to 6 photographs for free. And then the digital copies are sent to the social worker, and they keep that digital copy for the baby in the baby's records in their forever journal. So the mum then, it's very time orientated. So the photographs I edit as soon as I can. I send on to the photography department, and they get those physically printed for mum before she goes home or is discharged. We had to manage costs, and that's important as well, to make it sustainable and to make it something that the hospital could also take on. So I volunteer my time and my editing skills for free, and the in-house medical photography department cover the cost of the hard print. So on the consent form, we say that the images will be shared, as I say, as part of the baby's life story work, and the social worker will have a copy. And then everything is removed. All the images are removed from my software and removed from the memory card. They are not uploaded to mother's medical records. And it states very clearly that no images will be available from Midwifery if the original hard copies are lost or damaged. But the social worker has the digital copy, so the mother needs to go there. And also, we're very clear that these images go nowhere. They will only be shared if mum shares them or if the birthing person shares them. So if the mother has left the building and doesn't give consent for this, then usually the social worker in that instance would have shared parental responsibility. So they would give the consent. And they can be the ones holding the baby, or a colleague, or somebody in special care, or another family member, just as long as that baby has photographs of being held, being wanted, and being safe. So that's how we do it. So of course, well, as a photographer, I'm used to having photo sessions with people and taking hundreds of images, and then sitting with that person and going through and letting them choose their favourites, and tweaking here and there. So this is kind of one of the hardest parts, I suppose. One of the challenges for me is trying to keep this really simple, really quite a speedy process, allowing time with mum and baby, and letting her lead the session, but I will choose the images and get them sent back, because it would just add another layer of work with me to sit with mum and go through all the images, and I'm not sure that's particularly helpful at this time, and I wouldn't want to burden her with having to make that choice. Sometimes making choice, I mean, I don't know, when you've got 100 photographs of your child, you don't want to lose any of those images, but I can only give her 5 or 6 images, so I have to be very careful on how of the ones I choose and how they're sent. So the photograph sessions we take in the unit in the postnatal ward, and we go to a side room that's not occupied, or there are other areas that we will find, and this will happen before the separation or before they go to a mother and baby unit. I use natural light. We find a comfortable place to sit with baby, and we might I just find out what she needs at that moment in time. So does she want to be in the photograph? Does she want perhaps a little bit of her, as you can see in this image, maybe there's an essence of mum in this photo. But she, for this purpose, we didn't identify the whole of mum. Sometimes they want that and they want to be seen completely with their baby, and other times it's like, no, just my hands, or a piece of jewellery perhaps that a baby was going to be given on their 13th birthday. So mum wanted that piece of jewellery in the picture, but not herself. Also, I've had mums with their partners as well, and so there's like two hands sort of cradling the baby. What I've liked about doing that is that when I'm called to take these photographs, I no longer know the backstory. So when I was safeguarding, I knew all these families very well. So to then come in as a safeguarding midwife with a camera, I think may have been difficult. But now I'm coming in as a volunteer midwife. I don't need the backstory. I don't need to know what's happening. I just can be in the moment with mum, being able to give an unbiased, non-judgmental approach, concentrating just on the portrait, being there as a portrait photographer, and not there in another capacity. Also, I think, and this might resonate with some of you, that when a woman is in the bay, often everyone knows what's going on. And then we call the women out to go to a side room, and it's usually to go meet the social worker, or to have a discharge panel meeting, or to have a call group, or to go to court and be online. And that walk from the bay to somewhere else is termed as the walk of shame, where we would never obviously say that to the women, but I think as midwives, that again might be something that resonates with you. It's kind of like that feeling in the pit of your stomach that I've got to go around there and I've got to now take her out because we're going to go and deliver this news in a separate side room. So for me now coming in, it's a sort of a privilege to be able to say, okay, do you want to come with me now? And we're going to take these photographs with you and your baby. It's a really nice service to be able to offer. And so I just want to give you some samples of the photographs that I take. Obviously, time is an issue, as I've said. So there are two of us, myself and another midwife, Katie Holland, who take the photographs. And so we're just on call for when that happens. And I suppose my dream is that there'll be a midwife with a camera in every hospital, just able to offer this service in some way. My other dream that I have is that I'm that midwife and I'm coming around to all the hospitals in the UK, or maybe just the South and London, and I would be doing this. So you can see this very special baby here, and Mummy, and I believe Mummy is in the audience tonight, and these photographs were kindly portrayed by Emma, who's one of our safeguarding nurses, and she was completely behind the project and offered up baby Arthur to be my muse and take some images that I could share with you, because as I said, all of the photographs of the babies are not shared anywhere, even though, again, maybe in the future I could do some research or gain some other type. It's so difficult to gain consent at this time, as you know, but it would be lovely to be able, these are such, I feel that these are historical. They're a moment in time. Babies have been removed from mothers since year dot, and they're still being removed. And as I said at the beginning, it's 3,000 a year that are being removed. Now, it might be a very different situation that babies are being removed now, but they are still being removed. And the pain and the loss is still as deep as it always was. I had one mother who, when I offered some photography, said that due to the domestic abuse situation she was in, she didn't have a phone because he wouldn't allow her to have a smartphone. So that really, for her, was a real gift to be able to give her some images. And also a story from a great-grandmother who, in the 1940s, had her baby removed. She was a teenage mother and unmarried, and that was the reason. So 6 months after giving birth and being in a mother and baby unit, she had one photograph of her baby, and she said that when she got home, her mum felt that probably wasn't, she didn't want her to get all maudlin over having the picture of the baby around, so she removed it, and she never saw that photograph again, or her baby. And that great-grandmother's now in her 80s, and that pain is still very real. So these photographs, I'm hoping that we offer now, can go some way to provide some comfort, provide some support, provide some real acknowledgement of that moment. You can see that some of these images are, say, hands and feet, or showing an essence of mum's hair, or a full photograph with mum kissing baby. And each image and each session that I've done is very different. The very first session I did, I remember when I got the pictures back thinking how mum was so detached, and how I had to really help support her in how to hold the baby, and where to put her hands, and how to just how to be. And yet afterwards, when she saw the images, she wanted them blown up life size and put on her bedroom wall because she loved them so much. But to me, I just really saw that impact of her, the bonding and attachment, and how it wasn't there because she was just so afraid, because she knew that this baby wasn't going home with her. And then other mothers, again, that just haven't wanted to be in the image, but are happy for a part of them to be shown. I think for this to be successful in where you're working, I think I believe that this is a midwife, a midwife who can take a photograph is the right person to be doing this. I do know in some places that medical imaging people do come in, but it's moments like the bonding and attachment, and the and how to hold and how to be with baby, that I think a midwife really brings in that extra layer of support, and extra ways of knowing, really. You have to be available. You have to be on call and ready to come at a moment's notice, and yeah, as I say, I do it on a volunteer basis, and for me that works. What I also would like to see the project grow into is perhaps that we have a platform, that those midwives that are doing it, that we can share stories with each other, that we have a safe space, that I could provide some safeguarding supervision, so that if there is a particularly difficult case, that we're able to have a safe place to debrief on that together. So really, this is a call to midwives with cameras around the UK to get in touch, to find out how you could offer this type of service, replicate what we do in your hospital, ensure that you get support and supervision from your safeguarding team until this project can grow and until I can hopefully support that. I believe it validates the birth relationship with mother, birthing person, and the baby. And this is a true representation of art and science of midwifery through the lens. And one day, hopefully, I'll be able to share some real true images with everyone, if we're able to gain consent in a really compassionate way. Because, as I said, I believe that midwives are the ones that can provide that direction and support and the right interaction in these photo sessions that probably have never been captured before. So for those of you that need the references, I've got them here. And also, it's the Nuffield that I was relating to, that's Mason in 2023. And it was called Born into Care, the Best Practice Guidance. And at the bottom there are contacts for myself and for Sharon. And there is a gallery where you can see these photographs again of beautiful baby Arthur and his mummy, and my gallery is called On Pixie Set. Thank you.